Hi, welcome back to a video on literary relationships, and this is part two to be followed by part three. And I trust that it'll be helpful to you. So let's take a look and see what we have. Another literary relationship that is so frequent in the Bible is that of explanation. It means the presentation of an event or idea followed by a reason, interpretation, or clarification. In Romans 1:16, we read these words, "For I am not ashamed of the gospel, for it is the power of God for salvation to every one who believes." Now, notice the uh, highlighted conjunction for there. Paul is explaining why he is not ashamed of the gospel. And this is really a way of saying the positive through the negative. What he's really trying to express is, I am really proud of the gospel. Why? Because it's the power of God unto salvation. So explanation is another literary relationship. We also find in the Bible any number of purpose relationships, and that has to do with a goal or a purpose that is in view. And a couple of examples you'll see on the screen in John 10:10. The thief comes only to steal and to kill and to destroy. Here we find a threefold purpose statement for why the thief comes: to steal, to kill, and to destroy. Those are purpose statements. And in Mark chapter 3, at the time when the disciples are formally appointed in their new role, we find a threefold biographical and purpose statement here for the formal appointment. So we read these words, "And he appointed 12 that they would be with him and that he could send them out to preach and to have the authority to cast out demons." So the purpose statement here is really threefold. And you'll see those threefold statements highlighted in blue: to be with him, to be sent out to preach, to have authority over the demons. We also find in the Bible preparation, introduction, or setting of the stage. Any one of these terms works. And with this literary relationship, we're talking about the background or setting of events or ideas that enable the reader to understand what it is that follows. Now, notice in John 11:1 through 2. We read these words: "A certain man was sick, Lazarus of Bethany, the village of Mary, Martha. It was Mary who anointed the Lord with ointment, wiped his feet with her hair, whose brother Lazarus was sick." Now, notice here, we have history that's referred to, an event that concerned Mary and her anointing Jesus, as well as Lazarus being sick. We have biography here also referring to people. And you'll see the word man as well as the sisters and implicitly Jesus. And then we also have geography that's part of it. We find Bethany, the village. So putting that all together, we can see a historical, biographical, and geographical introduction or preparation or setting of the stage for the climactic miracle of the raising of Lazarus from the dead. These two verses set the stage for what will follow in terms of the grand miracle. Progression. means an extension or development of a particular item in a certain direction. It means a building. So, for example, in Luke 4, we find a building in terms of the specific temptations that Satan is trying to tempt Jesus to follow. So we have the first, second, third temptation. Turn a stone into bread, gift of the kingdom and glory by worship, and the third temptation, the proposed pinnacle jump. So these are all building, and that's what progression means. Repetition means the recurrence of the same terms, phrases, clauses, or even certain word families. Now, I draw attention here to Mark chapter 2 that concerns the healing of the paralytic. And we find the terms forgive and sins are repeated in the paragraph. And notice the 4 times that they occur. Verse 1, 7, 9, and 10. So this is repetition, and repetition means something exact, like the noun sin or sins, or the verb forgive. Both of these terms are repeated. We also find a literary relationship of conclusion. A logical conclusion follows the grounds and serves as the basis of an argument. Now, in 1 Thessalonians, we find 2 appropriate conclusions to be drawn from Paul's 2 paragraphs dealing with eschatology. The substance of each paragraph precedes this conclusion or exhortation. So in 4:18, therefore, encourage one another with these words. And what are these words? They refer to what Paul has just said in verses 13 through 17. And then in 5:11, we find the similar expression, therefore encourage one another and build up one another. And what does this follow? Paul's teaching on eschatology in the first 10 verses of chapter 5. So conclusion refers to something that is necessarily to follow on the basis of a particular grounds. And then a final literary relationship for this video, identification. This refers to the meaning or significance that is established by being equated with something else. A prime example would be that of Peter's confession of Jesus and his identity. So here we have a biographical identification. Biography is the raw material here. So Simon Peter answered Jesus, and remember the question of Jesus, who do you say that I am? You are the Christ, the Son of the living God. So Peter is identifying Jesus here as the Christ and also the Son of the living God. So these are some more literary relationships that we find in the biblical texts. So ponder this, and then we'll see our last video on various types of literary relationships. So stay tuned.